Hey everyone, Big Mac here, how's it going? Where the hell am I? Actually, I'm driving up towards Phoenix, to go to a concert. A band that I've been following for a while, Thrice, is playing at the Marquee Theater in it's spelled T-E-M-P-E, but I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it, so I'm going to assume that it has some French origin, so I'm going to call it Tompa. So basically I'm going to Tompa to go see a concert. Where the heck am I right now? As you guys know, I'm in Tucson, and I'm taking the back path. I'm actually taking the Highway 79 up through Florence, the state prison, and I'm gonna basically get back to the 60 from the east side, east of Mesa. You know, basically as if I were going to the Renaissance Festival, but I don't think that's for a few months at least. So definitely no Renaissance Festival in the near future. Excuse me. Anyway, so I'm just taking the back road because I have time on my hands. I think the opening acts are starting at around 6:30. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, meh. Not the biggest loss. I haven't had the time to listen to any of their stuff, so you know, it's not like I'm pining to see any of the opening acts. But you know, if I catch them and if I like their stuff, then I'll be glad that I got to hang out with them. What else is up? How's everybody doing? So I am going to officially call this a TravROCKmore because I'm going to a concert, and concerts rock. I totally give all credit to Eldrick for the title. Hope you're doing well, man. Let's see here. So, who is Thrice that I'm gonna go see? They are, I don't know, I mean, they've changed a lot. They actually started out as more of a thrashy punk type band, then they got into mainstream alternative, which is where I found them for the first time. Then they started going into this weird experimental psychedelic thing, and now they're kind of going back to like simplified, heavy, alternative. I don't know. It's an interesting combination now of, I guess you would say, alternative, indie, and maybe Christian. I don't know. There's obviously some Christian influence in their lyrics, but I don't think by any stretch of the means are they a Christian band. They just got a lot of influence in their writing of it. Let's see here. They've got 8 albums, I think. I discovered them for the first time back in 2003 with their 3rd album, The Artist in the Ambulance. It had a couple of singles, I think. It had All That's Left, Stare at the Sun. You know, I was 17 when the album came out, so I was like, I love this band. 16 or 17. Yeah, one of those. Probably 17. Yeah, I think so, 17. Yeah, like summer of my junior year, I want to say, something like that. Anyway, yeah, so I found them in 03. I loved that album. I would say that was still earlier in their punk phase, but it was like, you know, mainstream punk. Like, you know, I'm not a punk head by any stretch of imagination, but I could dig it. Then they had their first 2 albums were, what was it, Identity Crisis and Illusion of Safety. Those are apparently a lot harder. I've heard a couple songs from them here and there, but I've never really taken the time to listen to the whole thing through, either online or on disc. But, you know, so I found them in 03. I bought their 2nd album, Vishu, I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it. In 05, I liked it, although it didn't strike me as much as, you know, some of their previous album, but it had a few good songs on it that I liked. Their next 2 albums were, I guess, concept albums. I don't know what you would describe it as. Basically, the Alchemy Index was 4 half discs, I suppose. You know, trying to focus on different elements of nature. So they had a fire album, a water album, a wind album, an earth album. I don't think Avatar: The Airbender was out at that time. I don't know. I never watched it. So, but I didn't buy those. I didn't buy them when they first came out. I was like, yeah, Vishu was okay, but it didn't, you know, it wasn't convincing me enough to go buy the next album, just cold. Let's see here. So I skipped those two albums. Then then last year, in around April of last year, I heard a new song of theirs, In Exile, from their 2009 album, Beggars. I fell in love with it, the first time I heard it, and I'm like, is this the same Thrice that I liked as a high school senior / college freshman? But yeah, it's the same band, same members and everything. I wound up, listening to more songs from the album. I decided, hey, I want to actually buy this thing. I bought Beggars, and I fell in love with it. The entire thing, the title track, the last track on the album, it's amazing. I remember thinking last year, this is my generation's stairway to heaven. I'll be honest, I still think it is a massively powerful song, so if you want to take the time to go look it up, go for it. Beggars is the name of the song on the album, Beggars. They were supposed to go to Tucson and play a gig somewhere around that time last year. Unfortunately, some kind of family issue went up. I think one of the parents of the band members died. I'm not sure if it was the guitarist or the drummer and the bassist, because the drummer and the bassist are actually brothers, but somebody's parent was having health issues, so they had to cancel the Tucson tour, or their stop in Tucson, which of course made me sad, now that I had basically refound them again and was loving Beggars. So instead of, the ticket that I would have spent to go see them, I went and bought Alchemy Index, all 4 half discs. I mean, it's volumes 1 and 2 is one set, and then 3 and 4 is the second set. Among those, I don't know which one I like the best. I guess I would say Fire was my least favorite of them, but it was still okay. Water was very good. Air was very good. And Earth was very good. So it's hard for me to describe or to rank the other 3. If I really, 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 really had to, I guess, I don't know. I mean, let's see here. Alchemy Index was okay. From the Water, I loved Digital Sea. I loved the second track. I can't remember what it's called right now. And I loved Night Driving. It was actually an instrumental piece, but that was amazing. From the Air album, I loved a song from Millie Michelson and Daedalus. Okay, so that only has 2 tracks. For the Earth album, I loved Moving Mountains and Come All You Weary. So I guess in terms of the number of songs that I really, really liked, Water was my favorite, and then it's pretty much a tie between Earth and Air. Anyway, so getting back to their newest stuff, their newest album, Major Minor, just came out a couple weeks ago. I've been listening to it almost non-stop. It's really great. It's really awesome. I was actually thinking of doing a video review of it and just uploading that on my channel as well, but I never got quite around to it. But I don't know. I just thought it's a really well-crafted album. Is it my favorite album of theirs? I don't know. It's up there, but I'm not quite, it's maybe a little too soon to call it their best album yet. Or at least of the ones that I've heard. My favorite tracks on Major Minor, let's see here. Blinded is a very pop, rocky, power pop, I guess? I don't know. For some reason, it has a vague whiff of Third Eye Blind in there, but it still sounds like Thrice at the end. I love the drumming on that track. I love the chorus on that track, but it's definitely a more faster paced, like almost radio friendly song, I guess would be a way to describe it. My other favorite tracks, Treading Paper, track 6. I don't think I've ever fallen in love with a song based on the first line before. Funny thing is, that happens on 2 tracks on this album. Treading Paper, I fell in love with after the first line. I'm like, that is like lyrical genius right there or something. And then track 8, Words in the Water, again, same, basically, wow, that is a beautifully written thing. Among those, like, overall, I think I like Treading Paper a little bit more, but again, they're both awesome. And then the track that that finally, I guess, hit the nail in the coffin, or whatever NBA Jam related phrase you want to use from downtown that you could use is an anthology. Oh my gosh, I love anthology. It took me a while to realize that it is in fact a recycled to sound, for some reason for me has a negative connotation. A resource preserving lyric song. So basically he used snippets from other pieces, and a couple of phrases I caught on to. Obviously I'm not a master of all of their catalog, so some of them skipped over my head, but finally by the last one I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And plus, I don't know, I've got these random ideas in my head about making a music video for it, but I'm no film student, so I'm just taking it one day at a time. I just love that song. I don't know, it has a lot of meaning for me. So quite possibly my favorite song of the year. I don't know if it'll stay at that #1 spot. Just for completely tangent, I am gonna do another one of those my 20 favorite songs of the year thing, just because, why not? You guys can share my music, I can share yours, something like that. Otherwise, I think I'm almost up to the city of Florence, which is actually where the state prison is. One thing you guys have probably noticed, like as I've been driving, hopefully this is recording, I sure hope it is. Anyway, one thing that you've probably noticed is that it's really green. Don't you live in Arizona? And the short answer is yeah. We actually did have a really good monsoon this year. At least in Tucson, the records indicate that it is the 10th wettest, just in terms of amount of rainfall that we got. So obviously we're still very much in a drought, but all this rain that we got recently, there's even like some just towards the west. I don't want to use I'm going to try and pan over to it. Hopefully you guys will be able to see it. I don't know if you can or not. Hopefully I'm facing the right thing and not just like showing my butt or something. Anyway, yeah, we've been getting some good rain lately, finally, now that the monsoon's pretty much dead. It is October 1st today, so I don't know, I'm just taking my way up to Tempe, very slowly, taking the 79 up to the 60, and then coming in to Mesa, and, oh, sorry, I blew it already, Tampa, and then I'll probably let you guys know, I'll probably catch up with you guys when I get to somewhere interesting, because it's going to be like this the entire time. And the other reason that I didn't want to take I-10 was because, look at this, I have not had to deal with traffic at all. I like it a lot. And plus they're doing some construction by Casa Grande, so, that would definitely slow me down. This is probably still a longer trip altogether by taking the path through Florence and stuff, but whatever. Okay, well, I'll go see Uncle Jimmy at the jail, and then I'll catch up with you guys later. So, Big Mac saying, later. I have successfully managed to make my way into enemy territory. I am disguised as one of them by wearing a gold-ish yellowy sweatshirt. It's October. Wearing a yellow t-shirt. Of course, it has a giant Yoshi on it, so that might invalidate my research. Anyway, yeah, so this is the Marquee Theater. I have been here before. It's been a few years, though. A few friends of mine dragged me up here to see, who was it, My Morning Jacket? This was like 07, something like 2007, so it's been quite a while since I've got here. I have infiltrated and obtained a secret pass through the kiosk that is known as Will Call. There's a booth passing out vitamin water. It was really nasty tasting, but probably good for you. So, the sun is setting in the Valley of the Sun, which is weird, so it's the Valley of the Set. And we're gonna go watch a few sets of music right now. I might try and capture some concert footage. I don't intend to. It'll come out really bad anyway, so it, I really shouldn't. But just to help you guys, feel the music and stuff. Alright. There's already plenty of a line. I actually got here a little earlier than I was expecting. I left early because there was some, potential storm issues. So I tried to leave a little early to try and beat any dust storms and stuff. Turns out I got here maybe earlier than I was expecting. So it looks like they haven't even opened the gates yet. And first opening act should be starting hopefully soon. I really have no idea. Alright, I will update you to you guys accordingly. Alright, Big Mac saying. Later. Hey everyone, Big Mac here. Post-concert update. I am standing over Tempe Town Lake right now Tompa Town Lake. On Mill Avenue. I probably should have taken the 101, but I'm stubborn. I was just gonna take Mill to the 60 and then decide from there whether to take I-10 or go back to Florence. As you can tell, my voice is gone. That was amazing. That was just awesome. Oh my god, I love concerts. I wish I had more time and money to go more often, but I figured I would make this a special occasion for going. I'm probably gonna be here for a while, so I'll keep you guys informed as things progress. I probably shouldn't be driving and doing this at the same time anyway. Okay, bye. Hey everyone, Big Mac here. How's it going? Obviously, I am now driving back home. I've got my brights on, so I know you guys probably can't see too well. But it's about 1 o'clock. I've still got at least an hour before I get back into home, before I get back into Tucson. So let me just, talk about the concert for a while. I had to leave just a tiny bit early. I know there was some kind of special encore that the band was doing, that Thrice was doing. Unfortunately, the longer I stayed, the later I would have to get home. And as it is, I'm probably not going to get back to Tucson or at least get back home till like 2:30. It's already 1 o'clock now. The good thing, I'm just taking the 60. I took the 60 back through the 79 back through Florence because it's just such a nice, quiet, peaceful trip. It's a lot less stressful than riding on I-10, I think. And frankly, I hate driving on interstates. I really do. Even like driving on the 60 freaks the crap out of me. I do not like driving on freeways. Highways like this, I am perfectly fine with, even when they do get a little bit congested. But of course, the only other bad thing is, late at night driving through here, critters come out, as my mom likes to put it. I have already seen one coyote. It scurried back into the brush as I was approaching it, but. Yeah, so basically this is going to be like the really long 40-mile stretch. I'm not forcing you guys to stick with me the entire time, because that would just be, mean of me and stuff. But, just what are some general thoughts on the concert? I loved it. I mean, I was drenched, by the time we were done. It felt like they didn't have any air conditioning on, but I don't know, maybe just the fact that everybody was, just getting so excited with the show. The opening acts, there were 3 opening acts. I think they're on tour with Thrice for the entire duration of the trip. The first act was Oh Brother, they were okay, but they were very, very slow. All their songs were like were meant to be like very slow, grandiose. I'm trying to think of a word at 1 o'clock in the morning. Ethereal? I don't think that's the best word for it. But basically, they're trying to be really ambient with their music. And unfortunately, it just comes off as kind of boring for me. Although I did like their percussion. They have one guy on regular drums, and then they occasionally have a second guy, helping in with drums as well. So, I'd probably slow down a bit. Yay. So the second act was called Moving Mountains. They were actually pretty good. They had a lot of energy. They had a lot of kick in their music. I would say it just kind of sounded like Thrice's album Vishu. If that makes any kind of sense. I don't think it really does. But the point being is that, yeah, I was really digging their music. And is this guy waiting for me? Am I going to have somebody following me behind? Yeah, I'm going to have somebody lagging behind me the entire length of my trip. Yay! Oh my gosh, we had interaction with other vehicles. This was exciting. This is the most exciting part of the trip so far. No, the most exciting part of the trip, as you guys saw, was trying to get the heck out of Phoenix or Dodge or Tompa. Yeah, I probably should have just taken the 101 to the 60, but I was stubborn and just took Mill south all the way through campus on a football night, which was dumb of me. ASU had a game today, and I don't know exactly when it let out, but seeing as, I had to go through campus, I had to go through all the party places on campus. So, of course, people were obnoxious and not paying attention to any of the street signs. That's, typical college behavior, though, as far as I'm concerned. Yay, more bug splatter! So, back to the Thrice. The Moving Mountains, I like them a lot. I'm actually going to look into more of their stuff, see what I can find of them. The third act, Law Dispute. I didn't like him at all. The lead singer reminds me of the guy from Cold War Kids, just in the way that he talks and kind of screams, not screams, but he kind of says all of his words instead of like singing it, just like da 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 down, that kind of got on my nerves very, very quickly. It was Cold War Kids, I like one song of theirs, and then I've seen Cold War Kids before. That's why I'm making that comparison. Cold War Kids are annoying, and I found this group, Law Dispute, perhaps more annoying than Cold War Kids. Basically, it was like the same annoyance with a lot more guitars. That was pretty much the main difference right there. So, not a fan of Law Dispute, but I did like Moving Mountains. And then, of course, Thrice came on and totally rocked the house. Let's see here, I think they had a good 90-minute set. I was very pleased. They focused mostly on stuff from, the new albums, Beggars, and, of course, Major Minor, since that's the one that they're promoting. But they also did a couple of other things. They did one song from Alchemy Index, of course. Like I mentioned, the Fire album was my least favorite. They picked one from that. They did one from Vishu, and I think they did two from their first album, Identity Crisis. I want to say, two songs from Identity Crisis, as well as a couple from Artists in the Ambulance. The more hard rock punk ones, not the ballady ones, which I personally prefer. So, in terms of the stuff from Major Minor that they were doing, I was surprised that they actually included Cataracts and didn't include Blinded. But I guess, given the general ambience of the show, of the rest of the show, I guess that kind of makes sense. They were definitely going for the harder mood over the course of the show. Obviously they tried to include some of the, more popular slow songs from Major Minor, Words in the Water, Trading Paper, Anthology. Oh my gosh, I loved Anthology. Oh, I cried. Yeah, I cried. Big whoop-de-doo. It was awesome. Despite the fact that there was moshing all over. I'll get to moshing in a bit. But yeah, so they played Cataracts and they didn't play Blinded, which kind of surprised me. I figured they were going to do Coin in the Air, or Call It in the Air, sorry. What happened to the car that was just behind me? Creepy! The car that was just behind me is like totally disappeared now. I don't like it. It's gone. I'm sad. I'm going again. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the concert, and I wish I could have stayed later for that extra stuff outside, but it's already 1 o'clock, and I feel like I'm fading already fast. My voice is already gone, and I have nothing but the darkness to guide me. Yay! Okay. What else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, moshing. Since they definitely went for a more punk heavy, or just, heavy driven album or concert set, it made sense that there was actually a lot more moshing and crowd surfing than I was expecting. Again, it just went with their song choice. And in general, I do not like moshing. I try to get out of it as quickly as possible. Of course, the other problem is people like to try and get me into moshing, because they can be like the big power hitter or whatever. But no, I just try and get to the edge. I try and get to the edge as fast as possible. I will willingly help, create a barrier between people. I was doing that actually a lot. There were a couple girls behind me, and they wanted. I could tell that they kind of wanted to get in, but they were also kind of hesitant about it too. I mean, they could hold a fight. They could hold. I mean, I wasn't gonna doubt that, but people get crazy at these things. It's any rock concert. People, especially when you introduce stuff like alcohol and who knows what else to this thing, people get crazy. I just get tripped out. I don't get crazy. I just get overly mellow, and that was what happened at Thrice today. I guess tonight. I just got so mellow by the end. I was just like, yeah. Woo! Freebird! No, I did not do Freebird. That would have been silly. Of course, seeing as we were in Tompa, a lot of people were asking for Phoenix Ignition, a song from their first album. And given that this Major Minor was their 8th album, it's hard to try and please everybody by, trying to include stuff from every album, in a 90-minute set. I mean, that's, especially when you're trying to focus on your newer material, which, still has some elements of the previous stuff, but, sometimes there are factions going on. So, obviously they had to make a couple cuts. There were no songs from no songs from Illusion of Safety that I was aware of. No songs from volumes 2, 3, or 4 of Alchemy Index. So they had a good mix of songs from Beggars as well. So they didn't do the actual title track Beggars, but I was okay with that. They did Anthology, and I was just like, yeah! I love Anthology. It's my favorite song right now. I got country all of a sudden. I'm a country bumpkin riding down Highway 60. No, I'm not on 60 anymore now. I'm on 79. And we still got 29 miles before we can go down to Tucson. I am fading fast here. So I think what I should do is focus a little bit on just rambling. One thing that has been bugging me is, why did they title their new album Major Minor? I'm sure there's something on their Wikipedia page or something else. I'm just trying to fathom in my head, why would they entitle the album Major Minor? Of course, first thing when the words Major Minor come to mind is, going to college and picking a major and picking a minor. Usually it's two things that complement each other, but sometimes you can do two completely different things, like math and political science. Well, I guess you could be like a gerrymanderer then, but two seemingly distinct things, or two things that tend to have some kind of connection between them all. So I guess in one front you could try and say that with Thrice, because I guess if they were trying to write an album, they would be majoring in, I don't know, psychology and minoring in philosophy? I don't know. Just my thoughts on that. The other possibility for like major minor is, I think of like Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, the constellations. I don't really know if there's any kind of association between that, but the one that I'm actually thinking of, just in terms of the title, Major Minor, again, if you listen to the last few tracks of the album, there's a lot more religious influence in it, and so I'm thinking maybe it has to, do something with religion. Major, minor, the Father and the Son, something like that going on. Of course, it could be more than just, like a religious thing, and just like parents and children. That's kind of the connection that I'm gonna stick with, though. That it, has to do with like parents and children. I think in the liner notes, there's like 3 of the band members lost a parent between beggars in this new album, so they were dedicating it all to them. So yeah, it's just kind of what I'm trying to figure out. Hopefully there won't be any coyotes or anything else out here. I don't know how I'm gonna combine all of these clips together into one video, make it as one big TravROCKmore, or what I'm gonna do. But I've been blabbing with you guys already for 14 minutes. I've still got a long ways to go. I think there is a car like maybe 2 miles ahead of me. I can barely make out the red taillights, and so I like to think that maybe it sees me, or maybe it sees me in its rear window as being like, hey, you're not alone out here in this completely dark desert highway. Cool wind in my hair, warm smell of no colitas. Totally other random tangent. Has anybody ever made a mashup of Hotel California and Dragon Force Through the Fire and Flames? Because I could totally see that. Like they have the crazy guitar, and then all of a sudden and it goes boom on the dark desert highway, a cool wind in my hair, a wall full of colitas running up through the air, something like that happening. Where am I? Yeah, okay, so I think I better stop blabbing and focus back on the road. There wasn't I was talking about, me trying to be like the guiding light, or just be like the voice of soundness for the other driver who's a little bit ahead, and be like, hey, you're not alone. There was another car, I haven't seen it as of late, so maybe it turned off somewhere, maybe back in Florence or at the prison, but it was doing the same thing for me. Like I would go through a couple turns, then all of a sudden I would just see it in my rear view window, very far away, and not trying to catch up or anything, but it was just kind of comforting. I'd be like, yeah, we're out here, but we're not alone. It's a nice feeling. Of course we're not alone. There's plenty of coyotes out here. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay. Big Mac saying I will repost, or I will addend when I reach some form of civilization. Alright, later. Someday love will find you, breaking those chains that bind you. One night will remind you how we touched down when our separate ways. Oh my God, I had to pee.